Hello everyone, it's gonna be a chapter review of Jujutsu Kaisen chapter 163 titled Colony. If you like this video, leave a like, comment and share, and I would appreciate it because it would really help me with the algorithm, get my videos more seen, more known, and maybe one day I could probably make a living off of this, who knows. Anyway, thank you for watching. On to the review. The chapter starts off with a flashback of some asshole students picking on and bullying a chubbier, weaker student. This is the past of how Amai-rin met Itadori. Back then, Amai-rin watches as this goes on and just does nothing, referring to the bullying of the weaker kid. The bullies in this situation may not be the greatest in sports and academics, but they have a lot of pride. And if you don't want to end up on their bad side and be one of the targets, you have to agree with them, laugh with them and stay on their good side. And sometimes you could even benefit the rewards of being on their good side, even if it comes at the expense of the weaker and bullied students. By this time, Yuji Itadori had arrived and confronted the bullies. Amai just assumes Yuji's just another idiot, and the bullies turn their attention on Yuji and they think like, this guy's self-righteous loser. One of the bullies goes to attack Yuji, but Yuji kicks all their asses. Yuji then turns to Amai, who was just sitting there, shitting his pants like, yo, what about you? Amai just cowers at this question, and that's where the flashback ends. We then go on to the main story, where we meet up with Fushiguro and Remy. Fushi tells Remy that she can forget passing through Ikeburo to get to Shinjuku. He states that that area has a higher likelihood of running into enemy culling game players. Remy responds that they have to take that route because it's easier to navigate and her base of operations is nearby. We then shift over to Amai and Itadori. Amai has taken Itadori to what he claims is Higurama's base of operations, which is the Tokyo Metropolitan Theater. Amai then warns Itadori of how strong Higurama is. Itadori wanted to wait for Fushiguro, but he was in a hurry and went in alone. As Yuji goes away, Amai just starts feeling this big sense of regret and guilt. He wants to tell Itadori something, and that he should put an end to this. We don't know what this is. This is gonna be a big mystery in the later chapters of the manga. And Amai says, "I'm sorry, Itadori." And the chapter continues with Itadori walking down a stairwell. Itadori is stopped in his tracks. "Higurama! Unfortunately, my name is Reggie." And we find out that Fushiguro has been led into a trap and is now face to face with the receipt man. This means that Remy was the traitor all along. Fushi gives her a death stare, but she ain't scared. She tells him that Regiman is super strong. Fushi is pissed, but ready to fight. What a waste of time. What about Itadori, you ask? Well, he's the one that finds Higurama, laying in a bathtub, fully clothed. Have you ever taken a bath with your clothes on? It feels better than you think. I've recently stopped caring about a lot of things, so now I'm trying to find new things. I believe we're wrong. Itadori realizes that this is Higurama and wants to talk to him, but Higurama stops him. Higurama tells Itadori that he'll need to pay 5,000 yen fee for every 30 seconds of conversation and Itadori obviously reacts negatively, but Higurama plays it off as a joke, and then says that he just wanted to play the asshole lawyer. Itadori concludes that Higurama is a modern source and that he could try to negotiate the 100 points they need. Itadori tells him that they want to nullify the requirement to kill each other, and in order to do that, they want to add a rule using his 100 points. Higurama refuses and explains that he sees a certain potential in the culling games. Since laws are powerless at times, he wonders if the rules of the culling games are more concrete. If the world functioned on Jujutsu law, there would be no need for accusation or prosecutions without arguing over the truth. Those who break the rules are punished as assuredly as the laws of physics. Even if there are flaws in the rules, he wants to watch over the barrier system that serves as the foundation of the culling game, so he can't just let the culling games end right away. Especially, he says, rules 2 and 8. Higurama wants to witness the curse technique removal in action. Itadori warns him that the culling games is a ritual and that everyone in Japan will die. Higurama calls Itadori a liar and tells him that the culling games will last forever. Itadori has enough of this. He then decides to get a little bit more aggressive. Instead of asking for the 100 points, Itadori demands the 100 points. Higurama steps out of the tub. Have you ever killed someone that annoyed you? It feels better than you'd think. End of chapter. Alright, so this is the thoughts and opinions portion of the chapter review. This is where I pretty much discuss my opinions, theories, what I took from this chapter. And we're going to be starting off with what happened at the start of the chapter, which is Amairin's past and his relationship with Yuji Itadori. So at the start of the chapter, Amai is just watching these bullies pick on a weaker student, saying that only fools he basically said that only fools would get involved in this type of stuff, and that if he stays out of it, he'll remain on the bully's good side, he'll remain safe, and he would benefit from it, and that people who would interfere with this are idiots. I always suspected that he'd side himself, side on the side of the stronger people, because they're stronger, they can offer him more. And that if they can offer him more, it's better if he stays with them. Doesn't matter what their morals are, just so long as he can benefit from them. And if he finds someone stronger, he'll just monkey branch, go onto the stronger guy and leave the weaker guy just lying in the dirt. And that's why I didn't really trust him in the last chapter. He already proved himself as someone that could not be trusted. And in this chapter, it seems like he really can't be trusted at all, because I have suspicion that he is working with Higurama. Yeah, he wasn't working with Receipt Man. Remy was working with Receipt Man. So, Amai was working with Higurama. Both Remy and Amai were traitors at the end of the day. So, just for different reasons. One was led to a trap. The other one was led directly to the guy. But there were just some stuff that they were not told. And I'm really wondering, what is it that Amai wanted to tell Itadori? What is it that made him feel so guilty and all that? Why did Amai apologize to Itadori? What is going on? That's what I want to know. I just can't figure out. I can't even think about anything Maybe we'll get more clues in the next few chapters. I'd assume we're gonna be starting with the Fushiguro versus Regiman fight, which I'll talk about later. But yeah, so far I just don't have enough information to work off of on what it is that Amai is hiding. Next up on the list we have the traitor. We all know Remy and Amai was the traitor. Remy was working for Regiman, and Amai was probably working for Higurama. It hasn't been confirmed, but it seems very likely. Considering how Amai just likes to use strong people to get what he wants. Remy is the same way too. Don't get me wrong. So yeah, they're both pieces of shit. They like, hey, maybe they're working for each other. You never know. Anyway, Reggie man is gonna fight Fushiguro. So Reggie the receipt man, this guy was at the end of the last chapter. He had receipts covering the floors, hanging on like clothing racks. He seemed kind of addicted to it, and in this chapter he was wearing a dress made out of these things. Weird design there, man. Gege, that was a weird ass design. I don't really like the guy's design. It just looks fucking weird. But I think he's gonna be pretty strong. That, or if Shigeru's just gonna completely annihilate both him and Remy, just walk out with a few extra points to his name. That could happen. But I think that Reggie's probably gonna be strong. I wanna see what his curse technique is. Probably has something to do with receipts. And yeah, those receipts are definitely foreshadowing something. I don't know. Like maybe Reggie can like buy stuff and use the receipts to like summon things. He buys a pot and he can, and then once he gets a receipt for it, maybe he can just summon the pot and use that as a weapon. Doesn't seem all that powerful, but you could probably find some creative ways to use that. Buy a car, pull out a receipt, and run Fushiguro over with it. Do you get receipts for buying cars? I never bought a car before, so I wouldn't know. And anyway, screw all that, because the part I actually care about is Higurama. I've been waiting for this guy to make a return into the chapters of Jujutsu Kaisen for a while now. And it's good to see him. He's still pretty cool as ever. And I'm very interested to see where his character is gonna be going. When you first see him, he's like in a bathtub, wondering like, I thought this was wrong before, but it's not that bad. It's not that bad. I've never been in a bathtub with my clothes on before. If you've done it before, does it actually feel good? I don't know. Maybe Gege tried to experiment and just sat there in his bathtub with all his clothes, and I was like, you know what? This is gonna make it into the chapter. Or something like that. Also, before we move on to before we talk about Higurama's plans, I was just gonna talk about, Higurama's personality in this chapter. It's a lot more jokey, and he's still very serious, like very nonchalant about everything. Like he doesn't really give a fuck. And he's just like, minding his own business, and this teenager comes up and like, yo, give me 100 points, you fool. And Higurama's just trying to mind his own business from what I see. So, Higurama's plans. Higurama seems to like want to test out the culling games. Wants to see if these culling games rules, the ones that can be used in the culling games, can be applied to like real life and can be used to replace the judicial system that they already have in place in Japan. Since we learned from the previous chapters when he last appeared, I forget what chapter it was, sorry, that he has a lot of bad experiences with the judicial system, and that even though his clients might be innocent of certain crimes, they would still be put away for a long time, and he couldn't really do nothing about it. and he would always be bummed out even though he tried real hard to help them. And just seems like a guy that he just lost it. He just snapped like, yo, this all sucks. I just want to help these people, but this court system is just out for them, man. They don't even care. And worst part about it, if those innocent people are sent to prison for something they didn't do, people that actually do it are out scot free. They're probably gonna go out and do it again, and just never get caught. And even though all that evidence, remember Owe had all of the evidence that proved him innocent, but they still judged him as guilty. And that wasn't fair. I wonder what happened in that courtroom. Did everyone just die? I doubt Higurama is a lawyer anymore. Probably after that courtroom incident, he probably just went on the ground, disappeared. Then the culling games popped back up and was like, oh, that's interesting, let's do that. So yeah, he wants to, study the barrier rules and, witness them in action to see if they are worth his time or not, because he sees potential in them. And yeah, I would understand. It's very understandable that he would be like this if maybe he's right. Maybe the jujutsu rules would function better than our actual judicial system. But you wouldn't, if you did something wrong, you'd just be punished on the spot. Probably, hopefully, the punishment matches the crime. We don't want death sentence for stealing a loaf of bread here now. But yeah, let's say every time you steal a loaf of bread, you step on a Lego. That'll teach you a lesson. You'll know that you steal a loaf of bread, you step on a Lego. You'll never do it. Unless you like stepping on Legos, in which case you're weird as fuck. Go away. And now that we've discussed Higurama's plans, Higurama vs Itadori. I don't know how this is gonna work out. We don't know anything about Higurama's curse technique. We just know that something to do with law, based on its design and Higurama's whole personality and shit. But we don't know anything about it. So I'm still sticking with the idea that it enacts punishment on people that break rules. Maybe he sets rules in a fight, and that if you break those rules, you are punished. So you essentially have to fight by his rules, and maybe he also has to fight by his rules also. He probably can't make rules that exclusively benefit him. It's all about equal law over here. That's what Higurama wants. Equal law, where people are judged fairly and accordingly, regardless of who they are or what the crime is. And so yeah, that's pretty much all I want to talk about. If there's any, let me see if there's anything else I forget. Not really. I also want to see what's going on with Panda and his team over there. What's going on with Maki. Mai is dead. I want to see what's going on with the Jujutsu school. That old man principal whose name I forget. So yeah, that's the end of the video. Leave a like, comment, and subscribe. Share this video with all your friends, and I'll see you guys next time. Bye bye.